Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this, what is today, the 30th day, right here towards the end of March here. Duke collapses again. As you can see at the top of my screen here, we have a mock draft from 11 to 22. I'm running a little bit behind this morning. It's 6:40 a.m. I've got to get on the road here in about less than an hour and finish up everything. So, going to skip the break this morning and get right into it. So, Duke collapses again in the conference tournament. Last year, if you recall, in the Final Four against Houston, they were up 14 points with 8:17 to go in the game, losing to Houston. This year, up 19 at one point in the first half over UConn. I was watching this game, delay on recording like you always see that I do. And I was thinking, after they went up 19, Duke really looks like they're coasting out there as far as just kind of lightening up on getting back on defense, not getting back in your set fast enough. And I thought to myself, yeah, John Schneider, whatever his name is, the coach there, needs to call a timeout, remind these guys a lot of basketball to be played here. You're down 19, but guys, you're up 19. Let's play like we're tied here. You could see it, so I started thinking about it. Last year, they were led by Cooper Flagg, true freshman, 18 years old. This year, led by Cameron Boozer, 18, 19 years old. Also, basically two true freshmen that Duke is led by. And you look down at a UConn, for example, their leading scorer last night was a senior, Terrace Reed Jr., 21 years old, 22 years old. And now, and last year in the collapse of Houston, I went back and looked at Terrace or Emmanuel Sharp. Houston was their leading scorer last year in the 14-point collapse there. You could see the common thread the Schneiders have to address in the Duke department there. What do you want to call it? The general managing staff, the athletics, their basket. They've got to look and say, okay, we cannot win a national championship with these true freshmen. They may be the most talented guys in the country. They may go on to think about it for a second. Think if Cooper Flagg was on this year's team, he would have learned. He would have learned from last year, during that collapse. And he would have been able to pull this team together, and they would have beat UConn by 25 points. Michael Jordan says, you got to first learn how to lose before you learn how to win. He told that to Shaquille O'Neal when Shaq was trying to get his first rings back in the Orlando Magic days. Okay. And you said, well, but Jordan, some of you historians might say, well, Jordan hit the game-winning shot there when he was a true freshman back in '82 for North Carolina. Well, that being said, but he did have some vets like James Worthy, 21-year-old James Worthy, to lean on that particular team. Also a big-time player with Carolina back in that day. So, you think about guys like Christian Laettner beating a young Shaq there, because Shaq was still developing at LSU when he won that. But obviously, we know Shaq's one of the most dominant players of all time. Laettner was just an average NBA player. So there's a big difference. So they're going to have to get veteran leadership on that team for them to get over the hump here. I thought they had the best team in the country. The fact that I think it was his name, Caleb Foster, got him back there. Boozer brother, Caden Boozer, stepping in. I thought it was perfect for them to coast all the way to the national championship. They blow it again. You've got to address the youth factor because everybody else has senior transfers, whether it's overseas or here locally in the States there. May not have to be your star player, but you need about one or two, maybe three players that are 21, 22 years old, been in tournaments before, and can help ease that tension in these big moments here. That's my big take from that particular game. It seems to be a common thread with Duke the last 2 years. And, of course, as far as Dan Hurley, the coaching job he's done with UConn, listen, this team lost to teams like Creighton, Marquette. Marquette wasn't even in a tournament this year. They were blown out by St. John's, beat 2 out of 3 by St. John's here. They had 5 losses this year. You know, this is not his most talented team to get to the Final Four by any means. He is like a Rick Pitino with a bigger brand there in UConn versus a Big East type of St. John's there. Got some better talented overall players. And Hurley, great coach, best coaching job he's ever did at UConn, in my opinion. But like Pitino, even like Bob Knight back in the day, they get every inch, Nick Saban, out of their players in football. Every inch. So kudos to him. Man, that was a great comeback win. Did not see that coming. Okay. Other turning notes. Listen, Illinois, I'm still shocked they beat this Houston team. This team wasn't quite as good as last year. Didn't rebound the ball quite as good. Had the guard play. Did not have the older players that they did last year. That was a big win for them. I looked at the fact that Arizona, picked them to win the national championship before the tournament started in my bracket. But now I'm thinking, they are led by 3 freshmen. So you just never know. Maybe Arizona doesn't win it all this year. We'll find out here when the Final Four starts next weekend. But we'll see. We shall see, folks. We shall see. Let's get right to it. A little bit strapped on time this week. So I gave you my top 10. It's posted in the NFL draft, which is 3 weeks, folks, from Thursday. So I'm going to give you 11 through 22, and I'm going to try to finish up 22 to 32 next Monday. You'll have that. And then I'll obviously I'll post on all my social media links the whole first round. Now that we've seen all of the free agency, we've seen the combines, we've seen we'll see the majority of the pro days, if not all the pro days, and then you'll have my NFL mock draft. Okay, number 11, Miami. They need receiver. They got rid of 2 starting receivers this year, but they have a new general manager, John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley, both coming from Green Bay. Green Bay typically does not like to draft wide receivers in the first round historically. And listen, this guy, John Eric Sullivan's been with Green Bay for almost 20 years, I want to say. So I'm thinking they're wanting to get more physical. They're going to take the 11th overall prospect, not a very sexy one, but listen, usually the linemen that come in, nobody talks about, and they get drafted pretty high. A lot of the times they end up doing great once the season starts here. Okay, so I think they take guard Olabere Loane, Loane. He's a 6th-ranked overall prospect according to ESPN. He's a guard, best guard by a long shot out of Penn State. Okay. Number 12, Dallas. Dallas' biggest needs, obviously, is defense everywhere. Linebacker, edge, corner. I think the best prospect on the board at this point in my mock draft would be LSU's Mansur Delane, cornerback there out of LSU. The Cowboys will take him at 12. Now, 13, the Rams. Remember, they got this over from the Atlanta Falcons trade here. Puka Nakua's got sued. I know you may have heard this, but he's also kind of put his foot in his mouth 2 or 3 times. He's also banged up and injured a lot. You got to keep an eye on that position. Devontae Adams, 33, going to 34 this year. Adams is getting long in the tooth. He's not going to be as healthy. I think it's a no-brainer, although I would try to get another lineman in there personally, some line depth to protect Stafford. I think they're going to go with the local product there at LSU, Malachi Lemon, a wide receiver out of LSU. Okay, so that's the Rams at 13. Now, 14, Baltimore. Remember, they backed out of the Crosby trade, so they Sorry about that. Stupid antivirus thing came on my screen. All right. Boy, that really annoys me. All right. Now, Baltimore at 14, they got their pick back because they backed out of the trade. A lot of mocks have him taking Arizona State, Jordan Tyson. Listen, this guy played 9, 12, and 3 games in 3 years. He's injury prone. I don't got him going in these picks. If you general managers are dumb enough to take a player that's played that less of games in 3 years, that's on you. You do not take an injured player that's injured that much in college in the first round. That's foolish. So I do not have them taking him. I actually have them taking a tight end. Remember, they lost Isaiah Likely in free agency. And Matthews here, their tight end there is 30-something years old there. Mark Andrews will be like 31, 32 this year. He's getting long in the tooth. So their best option here would be Oregon's Kenyon Sahik. Very athletic. Kind of reminds me of Shannon Sharp, former Baltimore Raven there. By far the best tight end on the board. Sahik there will be the Ravens, the Oregon tight end, which the Raven fans should be really excited to get a guy like that at 14. Give me a little sip of my Hershey S'mores coffee cup there. So Hershey needs to pay me for that, but just trying to stay amped up here. Okay. Like I said, Mark Andrews being 31 in September, it's a no-brainer. Okay, now 15, Tampa. They lost Mike Evans of free agency, but listen, Emeka Buka was killing it last year at one time. He hit that rookie wall late in the season, but I think he's going to be great with Tampa. They definitely need an edge rusher. Losing Hassan Reddick among many. Didn't have a great pass rush. Todd Bowles, defensive-minded head coach here. I think it's a no-brainer. They're going to take Kendrick Falk, edge rusher, out of Auburn. Out of Auburn, Kendrick Falk, edge rusher there. Okay, and help amp up that defense. Now at number 16, you Jet fans, this is your second pick in the first round here. As I spoke of on Thursday's program, the Jets know that if they like Ty Simpson, they have to take him mid-first round. Too many other teams may trade up at this point. Ty Simpson, quarterback Alabama, is the pick. And hopefully he will sit this whole year and may be a good play for them. Maybe an uninjured. Oh God, I forgot the guy's name here. But they had a player they took in 2000 here, and he's slipping my name. His quarterback played great, but ended up getting hurt. But either way, Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson will be the play there, in my opinion, at 16 for the New York Jets. They will take Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama, and that's going to cause some shockwaves in and around the football NFL community. Okay, Minnesota at 18. They got needs at defensive tackle, center, and safety. The highest rated prospect is Oregon safety Dylan Thiemann. I think they're going to go defense here, help that secondary here. I love Harrison Smith, but he's like in his 30s now, 35, 36 years old. Smith is a great player, man. If he don't make it to the Hall of Fame, in the NFL Hall of Fame, Minnesota needs to put them in their team Hall of Fame, if you ask me. So they're going to take his replacement to eventually be safety Dylan Thiemann. At 18. Okay, number 19, Carolina. Edge rusher there is a top need. I think they go opposite of what they went the last 2 years, which is wide receiver, which they did hit there. They did hit last year on T-Mac there to Terrell McMillan last year in the first round. So I think they go edge rusher, go with the somewhat of a local product there. Clemson's edge rusher, TJ Parker out of Clemson. At 19. Now, Dallas, this is their second pick here in the first round. This is going to be a big one here. Dallas, they got their corner at 12. I think they go edge rusher as well and get the opposite there, Ruben Bain, and they get Akeem Messafor out of Miami. They can move him on the right side. They can move him on the left. So Dallas at this point now will have cornerback, edge rusher, and defensive tackle, and they got another edge rusher. Who was it there out of Rashawn Gary out of Green Bay. So they're starting to come together. Dallas might make a run at least the NFC East next year if they could keep Pickens happy with that. George Pickens happy with that franchise tag. All right. So, all right, now we got Pittsburgh at 21. They need depth other than quarterback. They need depth at a lot of places here. Ty Simpson would be off the board. I'm reading that Broderick Jones, their left tackle, was underwhelming last year, and he got hurt too. And new coach Mike McCarthy's thinking left tackle for depth there and possibly to take over that tackle position. So I'm thinking Caleb Lemieux, left tackle out of Utah. This would be a really good pick for the Steelers if he's available there at 21. And the Chargers, they take some depth as well. Remember, they had both of their tackles went out last year, and they still end up making it to the playoffs. But I think they take some depth here, maybe move this guy inside. But I think they take Caden Proctor, tackle out of Alabama. Wait a minute. I said I would have taken my notes. I stand corrected. I said I would take Caden Proctor out of Alabama. My pick is they're going to go edge rusher because of Khalil Mack there. They're going to go because of his age. Remember, Bosa's still out there. They let Bosa go last year. They're going to go with Cassius Howell, edge from Texas A&M. Excuse me. The Chargers will go with Cassius Howell, edge rusher, Texas A&M. They'll probably add that in the second or third round. Probably get a guard or somebody to add some interior help there to the offensive line. I don't think they'll go left. I would go left tackle early, but and have a fill-in guy there. But that's just me. But they're probably going to go edge rusher Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. Let's go to the recap here. All right. Again, 11. Miami takes guard Penn State. Alavere Lone, Penn State guard, supposed to be the best guard in the draft. 12, Dallas takes cornerback Mansour Delaney. At 13, the Rams take wide receiver USC Malachi Lemon. 14, the Ravens take Oregon tight end Kenyon Sahik. 15, Tampa Bay takes Auburn edge rusher Kendrick Falk. 16, the Jets take Ty Simpson, quarterback from Alabama. 17, Detroit takes Monroe Freeland. I think I may have missed it in the original, but they take Monroe Freeland, left tackle out of Georgia, to fill in there for their left tackle. That they let go in free agency. They may bring Eric, what's his name? I forgot his name now. But either way, they need that left tackle, Monroe Freeland from the Lions. Take him at 17. 18, Minnesota takes safety Dylan Thiemann from Oregon. Carolina gets edge rusher T.J. Parker from Clemson. Dallas gets edge rusher Akeem Messafor from Miami. Pittsburgh gets Utah left tackle Caleb Lemieux at 21. And 22, the Chargers get Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. Okay? All right, folks. That is all I got. I kept it inside 20 minutes for this morning. I hope you have a good Monday. And hopefully I'll be back here live probably Thursday with the Mad New Yorker. We'll go over the Final Four, this week's biggest stories. And it looks like the NFL is going to have a holdout with their officials. That could be a disaster. Maybe I can find some footage of the fill-in officials last time they had this holdout, making some crucial errors in the middle of the season. Hopefully that's not the case. But have a good week. Have a good Monday, everybody. I'll see you back here live Thursday here on The Real